This video will demonstrate a bit of the Ultra PicoKeyer setup for the Mac. It's using a very similar setup, the same one that Windows 10 is using. We're using jack router and the Carla connection bay. We're also using the same BANDPASS plugin. So let's go ahead and demonstrate this. We're using jack trips. I have to connect to the Mac remotely, so it's in another state. So I'm going to send the original Ultra PicoKeyer sidetone without any filtering to jack trip to this Mac BANDPASS, then back out to the jack trip so I can hear it locally. So here's what it sounds like. And here's what it sounds like without. We'll bypass it here. If you're wearing headphones, take them off a bit so this won't hurt your ears. So let's take a look at the spectrum now. Again, here's without the filter. And now let's bring the filter back in. So BANDPASS is doing a great job. And you can look at the settings over here. On Carla, if we weren't using jack trip, of course, your system would be your microphone. So you would bring the microphone into input 1 and input 2. And let's see if I can. Let's try it again here. There we go. And then to hear it, your other system is your sound card so that you can hear it. So you just draw a wire from BANDPASS output to your sound card input. And that would be your setup without using jack trip. And if you had Skype or Mumble, it would show up here too if you're using the jack router as its sound card. So you would just draw a line to that too. If you wanted to simultaneously send it to your sound card and to Skype or Mumble or some other VoIP so that you could hear it with another friend over the internet. So let's take a look at Google Chrome here. Here's the place to download Jack OS X. Right here where this link is. This is for jack trip. You can take a look at that if you want. Then as it scrolls down, it tells you how to set it up. But that's mostly for jack trip. But there's an issue with El Capitan, so you'll need to get the version for OS X here at this link. If you click that, it'll start downloading it. And then you'll want the Mac version of Carla 2 right here. Carla 2 will let you use many different types of plugins, VST, audio units. So it'll scan your folders for those and then you can bring them in. And to get BANDPASS, which has a Mac version, just follow this link and download the free bundle. I'm using the SPAM, the VST version for Mac. This is a very good spectrum analyzer. And here's the documentation link. And those will all be in the show notes. So basically, you find Jack Pilot on your Launchpad and start it. I'm going to go ahead and stop it and I'll show you the setup. We'll start from scratch here. So I'm going to take this out. Here's terminal. I'm going to close that out. And I'm going to quit this. We'll quit that one. It's taking a little bit longer since I'm using Team Viewer here, so bear with me. I can leave that up. And for this VST and VST3 for span, once you download that, you just drag and drop it into the VST folder, and same thing for the VST3 folder. Then when you rescan Carla, it'll show up. Okay, so let's stop Jack Pilot. I'll actually close it out. So we'll go to Launchpad, Jack Pilot, and let's go here and look at the preferences. So you want to use core audio, and I'm just using the built-in sound card on. It's a Mac Mini that we're using sample rate 48K, 512 buffer size. I'm going to activate the MIDI here locally. So you save that, and then start it. It has its own routing, but I much prefer using Carla for the additional features. So let's go to Carla. I'm going to go to the download folders because that's where Carla is located. So you see it right here. So let's hit that. And then we'll hit Carla here. See if we can get it to go. Okay, there it is. Look at the patch bay. So we have MIDI from the Mac Mini, and again we have the default input, which is a line input usually on the Mac Mini, and the sound card, which would be the headphone jack. So now to get that plugin, we're going to go to Configure Carla, go to the paths, and you can verify that you have VST3 in the correct location. The libraries there, VST. It usually comes default correct. Now on the engine, we're using Jack, multiple clients. That's the only two I had to change on this page. So then to rescan, click Add Plugin. And I've already done that. So when you hit refresh, make sure you have all your typical plugins selected here. This comes default this way. Then hit start. And let's see if this will do this so you can see what it looks like. Then it'll scan those folders that you saw in the configuration tab. It'll take a minute or two or less, depending on how many plugins you have. Okay. Then let's go ahead up here and scan for M bandpass, and there it is. So you have different types here. You have the audio units, the VST2 and VST3. So let's go to the VST3, scroll over, and it'll show that VST3 right here. So add plugin. There it is. Now go to the rack. click this gear icon, and then you have to enable. Double click on frequency, then you can get started with this setting. If you're using a 700 Hertz tone, double click the other one, go to 800. And you can of course vary that to your preference, how you like to, how tight you want that filter to be. Again, this is the line input where you take the headphone output of the Ultra PicoKeyer and run a stereo cable, audio cable from there to the input of the Mac line input. And then run your wires here. So now there's the input, and so that you can hear it to your sound card. Run it over there, just like that. Then try your keyer, try your Ultra PicoKeyer, and see how it sounds to you, and adjust accordingly. And if you wanted to look at the spectrum analysis, and you downloaded Voxengo's span, just add another plugin here, and we'll go to span. Now Carla has its own plugins as well. So again, span installs an audio unit, so you could use that, which is the Mac's native plugin, and it has VST 2 and 3. So let's go over here and look at those. The other thing you might want to look at is how many audio ins and outs it has, so it doesn't take up a lot of room. We only need 2, so we'll choose the VST3. There it is. And there's what span looks like. You can go here and check high res, click the edit, and you can take it up or down however much you want as far as the ranges go here. That's about it. So for those two plugins. And again, if you wanted to send it to Skype or Mumble, that will both of those are able to show up here in the jack connection bay, and you just run a wire over to the input for them too. And let's briefly go over these plugins here, just to show you we have quite a few. And let's take a look here. So it goes alphabetically. I'll just bring it down so you can look at it. And I just have Melda and Span, Voxengo's Span, all free plugins. And as you see from the Falk TX, it has some other plugins you can take a look at. So this Carla is really an extraordinary program. Highly recommend it. I think that's the basic setup for getting Ultra PicoKeyer set up on your Mac. Thanks for watching.